The 4 best invisible low back exercises. Are you someone who's been suffering with low back pain? Are you someone who's been struggling to find the right exercises for that low back pain without hurting yourself? Or are you the athlete who's looking for optimal performance? In the 4 best invisible low back exercises, you'll discover exactly why low back exercises are so important. You'll discover exactly what an invisible exercise is. And of course, you'll learn the 4 exercises themselves. Now, please be sure to stay right to the end where you'll be able to access my health vault free of charge. Hi, I'm Dr. John Zielonka. I'm a neurofunctional chiropractor in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. I'm the founder of the Ottawa Chiropractic and Natural Health Center, right on the ground floor of the World Exchange Plaza in downtown Ottawa. We are also home to Ottawa's only robotic laser spinal decompression system. Why are low back exercises so important when it comes to helping prevent low back pain? Well, very simply, we live in a real world. What that means is on a daily basis, you could be the person who's shoveling all day long, the person who's lifting all day long. You could be that person sitting in front of that desk or computer all day long. And that's where the saying, sitting as it is smoking comes from, where you're basically sitting, 8, 9, 10 hours a day, 5, 6, 7 days a week, and you've been doing that for years. Unfortunately, over time, that's going to create a weakness. Imagine if you went to the gym that often. Basically, you're untraining your body. What we need to do is get your body strong again. But here's part of the problem, is you're then often told, well, just go do some core exercises. And the problem with that is they may not be the best for you. Have you experienced that in the past? If you have, please share your comments with us in the links below. Number 2, what exactly is an invisible exercise? I know that's sort of a strange term for a lot of people when we're talking about exercise, but it really has 3 meanings. Number 1, it's actually invisible to harm. Now, I know that sounds a little strange. We touched on that a little bit, but most people who are suffering with low back pain are told, well, just go strengthen your core. Well, I've dealt with some of the best athletes in the world. Why on earth would you want to put more pressure on something that's already pinched or jammed? Now, yes, in the end, we do want to have obviously a stronger core, but when we first start doing this, we're often doing exercises that can actually increase pain, can actually cause damage. You may think you're feeling better because of it, and the truth is you're actually starting to wear out those discs and those joints more than you should. So an invisible exercise is, number 1, is one that is basically invisible to harm. One of the cornerstones of my clinics is that we actually want to provide exercises specific to you and only you. We actually call them neuromuscular education. They go far beyond standard exercises. And so for me to even do a video like this is something we need to be careful about, because there are exercises that can in fact cause harm. The 4 best invisible exercises are ones that you'll find are going to be relatively safe for everyone to do, but please accept my disclaimer. If you're suffering from something very serious, make sure that you're looked at by a health professional who's qualified in the field. Number 2, an invisible exercise is one that's also invisible to time. So what is one of the things that people tend to complain about is they simply don't have time to do an exercise. Now, I'm usually not a big fan of multitasking, but the 4 best invisible exercises are ones that you can actually do while doing other things. I know that sounds strange. We'll get to that in just a second. And number 3, most importantly, is probably the term that most of you will understand, is that the 4 best invisible exercises are exercises that I can actually do and you won't even know that I'm doing them. If you'd like proof of that, I've actually done all 4 of them while we've been shooting this video so far. Now, if you'd like to see more videos like this, please subscribe or share in the link below. So what are the 4 invisible exercises? Well, invisible exercise number 1 is what I refer to as an abdominal hollow. Now, there are other terms for this, but essentially think of the stereotypical person with the big beer belly. What we want is we want our abdomen to basically be held in tight. We actually want to brace the core, so to speak. So the best way to think of an abdominal hollow is picture someone putting on a really tight pair of jeans and how they have to tend to suck in their stomach and pull up. And that's really how I want you to think of it, is think of pulling your belly button up and in, okay, as if you're putting on a really tight pair of jeans. Now, you can do that just standing here. You can actually do that, focus on pulling that up and in. Now, the question always comes, well, how often do I do that? Do I hold that for 2 seconds, 5 seconds, 10 seconds? Well, initially, you may only hold it for 5 seconds or so. Then you're going to release. You may hold it for another 5 seconds and release again. But here's the neat thing. This is a position your abdomen and your core is supposed to be in all the time. So we actually want you to get to the point where you can maintain that position all the time. Invisible exercise number 2 is understand that your glutes play a huge role. So most people would think of their glutes as their bum muscles. Their glutes are muscles that actually help to support the pelvis. They're ones that help to maintain balance. They're used in all types of athletic endeavors. And for most of us, if we've been sitting in front of a desk or a computer all day long, we have actually not only weakened those glutes, but we've actually told the brain to shut those muscles off. Now, what I mean by that is, the best way to maybe explain this is, let's say you wanted stronger bicep muscles. Okay? So you would go into a gym and you might go do bicep curls, and you might do, 3 sets of bicep curls, and you might do that 2 or 3 times a week. Well, every time you do that bicep curl, the tricep has to relax. So almost every muscle in the body works this way. If the bicep's contracting, the tricep has to relax. Now, let's take that a step further. What if I told you to go into a gym and do bicep curls 8, 9, 10 hours a day, 5, 6, 7 days a week? What do you think would actually happen not only to your biceps, but also your triceps? Your biceps, you would certainly overstrain. The triceps, you are literally shutting them off. Your brain is constantly telling them, don't work, don't work, don't work, don't work, don't work. Eventually you get to the point where they don't work anymore. And simply going into a gym and thinking, well, I'll go do some tricep exercises, your brain's actually shut that off. Same thing applies when we start talking about the glutes. Most people, when they're sitting all day long, they're putting their hip flexors in a contracted position, which is telling their glutes to never work anymore. So what we want to do is we just want to get some activation back in the glutes again. So it's what I refer to as glute activation. What you're going to do is standing there, walking, sitting, just actually squeeze your bum together, squeeze the glute muscles together. You're going to want to do this where you might hold it for 5 seconds, relax for 5 seconds, hold for 5 seconds again, relax for 5 seconds again. Again, the question becomes, well, how many sets of this do I do? You want to get to the point where that's the natural position for your glutes. You want them to feel like they're activated all the time. You could be driving in your car and have a little sticky note on your dashboard saying glutes. And every time you remember, I want you to actually contract those glutes. Invisible exercise number 3, one of the things, if you pay attention to this, is watch how an elderly person walks. You will see that they tend to take nice short strides. Part of that comes with aging, in the sense that they start losing part of that muscle activation. Part of that comes as a balance issue. So to give them, more security, or that feeling of security, they tend to take those shorter strides. But in doing so, you are no longer activating those same glutes again. So exercise number 3 also applies to the glutes. But what I want you to do is simply start taking longer strides. Now, again, my disclaimer, be careful if you are someone who has balance issues. You need to be careful with this. Taking longer strides is something that obviously can cause loss of balance if you're not used to that. But every single time that you take a step, I want you to think of taking a longer stride. And invisible exercise number 4, same type of idea, is what happens is, as we continue to do the same movements over and over and over again, and as our body is basically attempting to deal with the best of a bad situation, it starts to compensate. And it doesn't always do that in a good way. So what we need to do is untrain your body in a lot of ways. It's what we call, in rehab, we call it a faulty movement pattern. So one of the things I'd like you to do is try walking backwards. Now again, my big disclaimer, please be careful about this. Let's be careful that you're not tripping over things. Let's pay attention to where you're going. It's actually a little easier when I'm doing this on camera, because I can actually see in the camera where I'm going. But you'll find that you will start to activate muscles in a different way. A lot of my rehab background is actually Eastern European, and one of the best rehab doctors of all time is a guy by the name of Dr. Yanda. If you go to his clinic, you don't go 3 times a week and spend a half an hour each time you're there. You go and spend 2 weeks at his clinic, and one of the things that they make you do is, everywhere you go, you have to walk backwards. Okay? Going to brush your teeth, walk backwards. Going to eat a meal, you actually walk backwards. Right? What this does is it starts to retrain the brain in a different way. Now here's the best part, you can put all of those together. Okay? Is you can actually do the abdominal hollow, pulling the navel up and in, you can contract the glutes, you can actually take longer strides, and you can actually start to walk backwards more often. I always say one of the ways that you can know my patients is they're the ones who are walking with the longer strides, and even actually have their hands on their butts so they can feel the glutes contract with every step they take. Yeah. If you practice all 4 of these, you will be amazed how you will actually start getting the stability back to the low back. You get that stability and that strength back, and that's what we want. We need those muscles activated and working before you can start getting into any of the exercises that you would normally think of doing. You'll actually find that it will, as an athlete, it will improve your performance, it will improve your sport, it will improve your personal bests and squats and all types of exercises like that as well. Now, if you found this of help, then please share this. Okay? If there's anything we can do for you at all, then please look in the links below to access my Health Vault free of charge. Again, there's a link below as well. What we do is, for over 30 years, I've been doing free lectures to the community as part of the Human Performance Lecture Series. So the Health Vault is simply, we will give you the best health information free of charge, no obligation, no sales pitch. It's just all the things that you need to do. Anything from ergonomics to whether you should ice or heat, to whether you should be taking muscle relaxants or painkillers or anti-inflammatories, posture, and so on and so on. So if you're interested, just please click the link below and look for my next video.